Okay guys, so I'm back to working on the table again, and I've come to a few conclusions. First off, let me show you what I've done here. I told you I was going to mark out some Maltese crosses on a piece of metal and then cut them out and use them for decoration on the top of the table. Change of plan. Here's the results of drawing up Maltese crosses. I've got several drawn up on that piece of metal, as you can see. They didn't come out too bad. I mean, actually, I could cut those out and they'd probably be okay. The only problem is that the plasma cutter is on a 15 amp circuit, and about every 10-12 seconds it pops the circuit, so that makes it really hard to cut that stuff out with the plasma cutter. What I need an actual 220 volt extension cord that plugs into the plasma cutter, because it's designed to run on 110 or 220. It'll work either way, but I don't have the appropriate cable to plug in to go to the 220. So if I want to cut those out, I could probably use an angle grinder with a really thin stone on it, and use the plasma cutter to do the curved surfaces, because it's hard to do with a flat stone on an angle grinder. But I did cut one out, and it didn't come out too bad. It still needs some buffing up on an angle grinder, or not angle grinder, on a bench grinder, which I have. I got to clean it up some. So this one came out not overly bad. It's okay, I guess. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my torches over here, my oxyacetylene torches that I have here in the corner. Some junk off there so you can see them. There you go. All kinds of junk on them. So there's the oxyacetylene unit right there. Acetylene and oxygen. I do have a little bit of gas in both of the cylinders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a rosebud. I don't have a rosebud, but I'm going to pick one up. I think I can get one for around, $30 or something like that. And what that is a tip that would go on and replace this torch head. It'll screw on right there, and it's about the same length as the torch head that's on there right now. This is a cutting tip, actually. I'll replace that cutting tip that just screws off, and I'll screw on a rosebud. And the rosebud is good because it gives you a wide, heavy flame. You can use it for heating things up, if you want to heat something really quick, or in this case, you can use it to burn the top of a wood surface, or whatever part of a wood surface you want. But in this case, tabletop. I can actually use that flame to burn the top and give it a nice aged to burnt look. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that to the tabletop, but I'm also going to instead of screwing down a bunch of Maltese crosses on the table, I might still put a few on, but instead of putting a bunch of these on there like this, I was going to use it to help hold the boards like this, but it won't be necessary when I put the table together. The new idea that I have is going to be a little different, so these will all stay together pretty good. But the idea was to use these screws here, or a couple here, a couple here, a couple here, whatever, to give it a decorative look. This might not be a bad idea. I could still do that, but right now what I'm also thinking is use that rosebud and lay this in specific spots on the table and burn over it with a rosebud, so that when you lift it off, you got a nice burnt surface here, but you'll have your Maltese cross section where this will be lighter. And I could do that in a kind of a gradual fashion, so that it's darker in some areas, lighter in some areas, but we'll end up with some nice Maltese patterns on top of the table that are not burnt, to be lighter wood. Then, also what I'm thinking is I'll take this bigger piece that I have here, this copper colored piece. It'll be more for the center, but what I'll do is I'll draw as big a Maltese cross in this as I can possibly get, and put a nice big copper Maltese right in the middle. Now remember, this is going to be burnt. It's going to look somewhat darker than it is now. It's going to have a burnt look to it. Instead of putting stain or paint on it, I'll burn it. And then when I can put this in the middle, Maltese cross, put this metal, screw it down, or whatever the case may be, something decorative, so that it looks nice on the table. And then maybe the four corners, You know, here have the Maltese pattern etched in using the rosebud. You know, maybe one here, one here, one here, and one down here. Or, you know, maybe one here, and one there. You know, all the four sides. I'll come up with an idea. I'm not sure exactly what yet, but I'll come up with something. And in terms of the table and the wood staying together, that's not a problem, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to outline the edges with 2x4. So I'm going to go along here with a 2x4, the other side as well, and then I'm going to go along the edges with the 2x4, and the edge down here with the 2x4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand the 2x4 on its edge like this, and I'm going to notch 1/4 inch into the 2x4, the length of the 2x4, the thickness of this material here, so that this will actually fit. That will actually fit right into the groove. Now it'll fit into the groove on the sides and on the ends. So now we have a supported tabletop. I can also put a strip of metal underneath across the bottom if I want to make sure it's, you know, nice and strong, but I think that will be adequate without wasting the metal. I'm trying to reduce the waste of the metal. I don't want to waste a whole lot of metal. Metal's expensive. I mean, I want to put metal on it, obviously, because it gives it that rustic steampunk look, whatever you want to call it. I was going to put angle iron on the whole thing all the way around the edges, but the angle iron I got, I think I'll just take one piece and cut some short pieces and place them maybe on the corners, and maybe a bar in the middle of each side or something like that, just for some looks. And from there, that's pretty much all I've got in mind for design right now. I'm going to go with that. I've cut my tabletop all to the same length. My pieces here are all 50 inches long. Now I've got to do the math and figure out how long the 2x4s have to be. Taking into consideration that they're going to be grooved probably about 1/4 inch. So I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to go cut my 2x4s at length. I'm going to go notch the 2x4s and come back and put the tabletop together. Till then, peace out.